You have finally worked up your courage enough to enter my lair, my home. Have you come to steal from me? Kill me? Both. I do not blame your hesitation. You are right to fear me. Our species are enemies, driven by 1,000 years of greed and mistrust to despise and fear one another. And I do despise you. You, with your tiny bones, skulking about in my shadow, relying on your numbers to kill me or drive me from my home. And for what? Treasure and glory. Powerful motivations, both. How many of you mortals can boast that you have bested a dragon? For each of you who can, there are thousands whose skeletons decorate our caverns, testaments to your collective weakness. Yet I suffer your presence now, despite your inborn treachery, not out of my own arrogance, but because of loneliness. My own young have long since set out on their journeys, claiming their own territory and amassing their own hordes. My mate was slain long ago, and so I lie here, day after day, alone with my thoughts and my memories, dreaming of past hunts and mourning what I have lost. But you're not here to kill me. For starters, there aren't enough of you to do so. Call it pride if you wish, but I know my own power, and a handful of warm bloods are not going to be the end of me. Besides, you do not smell of steel and magic, not in the quantities you would need to challenge me, at any rate. So you are here for treasure then, hoping to see my hoard and to make off with some baubles for yourselves. There was a time I might have allowed you to abscond with a few handfuls of treasure. At one point in my life I had plenty to spare. Of course, in those days, I would have roasted you for the crime of daring to approach me. You mortals were like vermin to me then, infesting the cracks and crevices of the world, impossible to wipe out completely. Now, however, I am old, and I am tired. This world belongs to the young, and to the small. My hoard is not what it used to be. I gave much of it to my young when they set out on their own, gifts to bolster them as they carved out a place for themselves in this world. Tell me, warm bloods, do you know why dragons collect treasure? No, it is not simple greed like with humans, nor is it obsession as with dwarves and gemstones, or Elova and magic. There is a unique kind of power in the treasure created by your kind. Even the smallest copper coin holds this power, holds meaning beyond its material form. You build your societies on stacks of coins, assigning power and potential to those who possess them, and ignoring those who don't. It is beyond magic. It binds you together like nothing else, from the most humble farmer to the most grandiose king or empress. Treasure shapes your lives. It gives them meaning, not to each individual but to your species as a collective. The slave and the merchant both recognize the power of the king. But what is that power? The power comes from the coins and all they represent. The king gives them to his guards, and in turn, the guards reinforce the king's will. They become an extension of it, echoing the power of the king, becoming this power, and all in exchange for coins. It matters not what kind of soul the king has, how righteous or ignoble their character. They use the power of the coin to expand their will, to collect more coins from the people who have less than they do. Treasure is power with no care given to merit. I claimed this cave many years ago. I cleared it of its previous occupants with tooth, claw, and spell. I earned this place, and I have not left it. But your kind gives and takes land with coin. You assign a value to every river, every plain, every cave. Whoever has the most coins owns the land, doling it out in parcels to others in exchange for more coin. You warmbloods have sidestepped the natural order. My cave is mine because I took it. It remains mine because I have the power to hold it. Yet when I am gone, some warm-blood queen will determine its value with coin. She will sell the right to dig in the earth to someone else. That someone will hire others to do the digging for them, offering treasure in exchange for their work. Any one of the miners who dig in my cave could claim the cave for themselves. They will have the physical strength to drive off the owners and take the cave and its riches for themselves. But they won't, because the owners will have enough coin to enforce their will upon the miners. They will spend coins to get others to fight for them if necessary. They will keep everyone in line, doing their duty, fulfilling the wishes of whomever has the treasure. Why do dragons collect the treasure you warmbloods create? Because we can feel that power, that potential in each and every coin. Did you know that most dragons can assume your form? That's right. Most dragons have the ability to change their size and shape, and many use this ability to walk among you, unseen. Some dragons enjoy your political games, and choose to play them alongside you without you ever knowing our true form. But we dragons, who are superior to you in every way, no better than to play our games as someone else's pawn. No, when we play, we command the board. No being controls us. No being stands above us. We have the power to control you through our might and our magic. But to play your games, we need to bring treasure to the table. We must use the power of the coin to command armies, to impose our wills. It is the greatest challenge any dragon can face, setting aside our inborn advantages to control you with a velvet touch, to play your game by your rules, and still win. Then there is the luxury of wealth. We are as powerless as you against the sunset, and the biting cold of winter nips at our heels as it does yours. But with coin, I can pay an artist to paint me an eternal sunrise, and I can pay a wizard to illuminate that painting for all time. With coin, I can buy heavy curtains to hang in the entrance of my cave, to keep out the winter and wind. And I can pay to enchant a globe to radiate warmth on me when the forces of nature would see me freeze to death. There is no convenience that treasure cannot purchase. I smell incredulity. Did you think us all mindless beasts, living in caves because we know no better? I own an estate in your capital city. I visit it several times a year to keep tabs on your kind. Some dragons choose to stay among you, living in secret, manipulating your societies from within. Others choose to live as I do, in caves at the top of mountains, or in other places far from your civilizations. Why? Because we would be free and beholden to no one. I hunt when I choose, I take what I want, and I keep to myself. There was a time when things were different. Dragons lived alongside warmbloods in cities we all made together. The younglings chased each other through the maze of towers your wizards erected in which to conduct their experiments. We would sun ourselves on the green platforms the Aalveir created at the tops of their trees. And at night we would lie in dwarven vaults on mounds of treasure, protecting it from thieves and raiders. But those days are over. You warmbloods turned on us, killed us when we came to you with open arms, and drove us out of our homes. I was but a hatchling then, but I remember why your kind did it. Would you like to guess? Treasure is the answer. It always comes back to treasure and the power it creates. Some dragons do amass treasure out of simple greed. Those who turned against Saska and embraced the Rus went so far as to become living treasure themselves, with scales of gold and silver, copper and bronze. They bought into that power and led the warmbloods against those of us who still followed Saska. They kept their treasure as they helped the Warmbloods confiscate ours. For a time, at least. Eventually, your kind turned on them as well, killing them for their horns and scales, and for their own treasure hoards. You would kill me for mine if you could. I smell the greed on you, the avarice. It is yet another reason for a dragon to keep treasure. It flavors those who would take it. My hoard is nothing compared to what it once was, but it would still make any one of you wealthier than your current king. You know this. It burns in you, a fever born of possibilities. You are this close to being truly free, to having real power. You ache with the desire for it, and that makes your flesh taste all the sweeter. But we'll have none of that today. You might dare to steal from me, but you won't approach me. You will not dare come close enough to actually lay your hands on my treasure. And I will let you live, so long as you stay in my entryway. Sit down if you like. Make yourselves comfortable. You have traveled a long distance to come here. You may as well rest your feet. There are 2 more reasons why dragons collect treasure. Would you like to hear them? The first of the 2 is that we find piles of coins to be comfortable. You Warmbloods have your silk sheets and your velvet cushions. I have piles of silver and gold. I burrow into them the way you burrow into your furs and hides. This is why, for whatever bulky treasures you may find in our hoards, the majority of our treasure will always be coins. After all, who wants to sleep on top of a magical sword or a suit of plate mail? My treasures include weapons, armor, paintings, even furniture. I would offer you a seat on my fainting couch, but you are covered with road dust and sweat, and I would rather keep it free of your smells. But for all my treasure, it is still coin that I prefer above all else. Especially gems. Gemstones have value, I know, but when you're trying to sleep on them, they're just rocks. The real value of gems is in the way they catch the light, and that brings us to the final reason dragons collect treasure. It's shiny. You may laugh, but it's true. Just as some birds will decorate their nests with metallic thread or other shiny bits, so too do dragons. I spend a lot of time in this cave. I will spend days enjoying the play of sunlight off the coins in my hoard. Sometimes I will arrange the piles to catch the moving light of day to tell a story only I will read. Bear that in mind when next you venture into a dragon's lair, looking for wealth. So now you know why dragons collect treasure. We definitely do not do it for your benefit, and we will protect what is ours from your greedy intrusions. Remember that. Never forget. And if you come here again, do not bring any more of you than there are now. You are safe because I do not feel threatened. You do not want me to feel threatened by you. Now, rest and talk amongst yourselves for a while. Decide what you will do next. I am going to close my eyes and listen to you breathing. I would offer you refreshments, but I'm afraid all I have is part of a wild cow that I haven't finished eating. You are welcome to partake of your rations. Nothing will harm you while you are in my home. Perhaps you will stay long enough to hear a story. I used to tell stories to my hatchlings in years past. I miss it sometimes. No? Perhaps next time. Safe journey to you, warm bloods. You know where to find me.